What's up, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new deck profile for Burning Abyss. This is my take on the Earth variant of Burning Abyss. Every time I see people post their own profiles of this, or I see, replays, or see people playing this specific build, I just want to play it more and more as opposed to the level 3 spam build I was playing in a previous version of this profile. The Earth version just adds so much more utility, and I think it gives the deck a much higher ceiling. As far as plays it's able to make, and the plays that you can make that make it so your opponent can't play. Being able to have access to cards like Dweller, Tornado Dragon, and things like that on top of your normal BA plays, thanks to the rank 4 utility that some of the rock cards bring, is really cool. It also makes the deck able to punch through a lot of negates and punch through big boards, because it can just keep sort of like resummoning Block Dragon, and Block Dragon can keep searching cards for you. So a very resilient strategy, if I do say so myself, and one of my favorite decks of all time. It's still crazy to see how much this deck has adapted to this day. So before we get started, I want to mention a shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in getting any playmat sleeves, dice, things like that, check them out down in the description below. And if you guys are also buying anything on TCG Player, use my affiliate link down in the description below as well. And if you check out using that link, I'll receive a small portion of the revenue from your purchase, which goes to help support me and the channel, which goes a great way. So much thanks in advance for those that use that, as well as my discount code for Imperium Duelist. So let's go ahead and get into the profile here. And to start, we have 2 copies of Mathematician. Mathematician is an excellent starter in here. It's also an Earth target for your Block Dragon summons or your Rock Spirit or Gigante summon. And it gets a lot of things out of your deck for you. So, of course, you got to play 2 copies. 2 copies of Wielder. And the reason we're not playing 3 is because I'm also playing Hydralander in here. And Hydralander really only is useful when you have no duplicates in your grave. So playing 2 ofs is actually preferred. So 2 Wielder, I mean, we've pretty much always played 2 Wielder, so not much has changed there. 2 Gallus the Star Beast. Didn't want to do 3, same philosophy with everything else. Same thing here with the 2 Rhino Warrior. Rhino Warrior is still such a good card, but again, I think 3 would just be too much. And then the 2 Psychic Tracker. And then the last 2 Earth level 3s that I'm playing are 2 copies of Crusadia Leonis. I've seen some people play Gilasaurus, the one that, like, I think if you control no monsters, like, you can special summon it, and then your opponent gets to special summon something from their graveyard. I don't like that effect very much. I'm sure it doesn't come up that often, but I think Leonis is a pretty good extender going into, like, a Cherubini or something. Or, like, I think it's just better overall. So yeah, we'll just stick with those Earth. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 level 3 Earth cards there. And then the other level 3s that we have that aren't Earth are 1 Edgem Saber, 1 Sea Archiver, and 1 Tour Guide from the Underworld. So those are all the other level 3s apart from the BA engine we're playing. So for the BAs, we have 1 of each, actually. We're going, well, 1 of each except Rubik, because I just didn't want to fit Rubik in here. So 1 Seer, 1 Skarm, 1 Graph, 1 Barbar, 1 Calcab, 1 Cogna. I'm playing this as an extra name, extra level 3 fodder, just an extra extender. The nice thing about the BAs is they're all starters, but they can also act as extenders as well. And it's got 1500 attack, so if you need to send it off Cherubini to boost your Dante to 4k, you can. And I think just has more utility than Rubik does, since I'm not playing any synchros. So 1 Cagna, 1 Libic, 1 Draghig. The stack effect actually is kind of relevant. 1 Farfa, because it can stack cards like Farfa or Alec. So yeah, so that is it for the BAs. We have 10 BAs, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 total BAs, 1 each, because Luna the Dark Spirit isn't, like, officially out yet. That's a card I've been, like, contemplating playing in here and playing maybe more BAs. Because that can just banish the dark out of your grave, but we have no way to clear multiple darks out of a grave of the same name with the rock stuff, so only reason to play 1 of each is so they don't fill up your graveyard with things that can make Hydralander not live. Then for the rest of the rock stuff, 3 copies of Block Dragon. The absolute star of the show, rock-type monster control cannot be destroyed by card effects, including itself. Can be summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand or graveyard. And this card you can just keep summoning multiple times. It's just insane. It's such an amazing card. Then next I'm playing 3 copies of Gigantes and 1 Rock Spirit. I spent yesterday looking for multiple copies of these, and I only found one of these. So ideally, this would be 2 Rock Spirit. So because I just don't have a second one, so you do 2 and 2. But I'm just doing 3-1 for the sake of this video, just so I don't have to use a proxy. Then I'm playing 1 Revival Golem alongside the Fossil Dyna. Revival Golem is a card I've opted to play over the Giant Rex because this can be a normal summon if I need it to be, whereas Giant Rex, I don't think you can normal summon Giant Rex. I could be wrong. But this card I like just a little bit better, I guess. It's my own personal tech, I suppose. It is a level 4 rock, and if it's sent to from the deck to the graveyard, you can activate one of these effects, either special summon it from the graveyard or add this card from your grave to your hand. So if you mill this off Dante, you can just summon it out for free, even if you don't have like a card to, like if you were to mill Giant Rex, you need something to banish it to get it out on board. But this card, if it just gets milled off your Dante, you can just summon it for free. So yeah, I like that. I like that card for that reason. It's a cool little tech. And then lastly, 3 copies of the Orbital Hydra Lander. I thought about playing 2 of these, but despite needing us to play as little 3 of us as we can to make this card as live as much as we can, we still need to see this card as soon as possible. So I think playing 3 is somewhat correct. And then the last 3 cards in the deck are 3 copies of Sekka's Light. This card is just a must. It's a given. I would count this sort of as a starter as well for this deck, just because it gets you into more combo pieces and extenders and things like that. So 40 card main deck, pretty standard as far as Earth BA builds go. The Fossil Dyna can be searched off of Block Dragon, so if you have turns where your normal summon isn't taken up by something, which can be the case very easily, because all the level 3 extenders we play, like Crusadia stuff, the Gallus, the Psychic stuff, things like that. If you can search the Fossil Dyna off of Block Dragon, you can just make some really nice plays just by putting that on board. So now we'll go into the extra deck. 1 Dante Pilgrim, because you got to punish them for clearing the Boral, or not the Boral Sword, but the Beatrice. Then the links, we have 1 Boral Sword, 1 Avermax, 1 Borreload Dragon. You got to play the 3 link 4s. 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 2. Well, first of all, let's do the nightmares first. 2 Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix for the nightmares. 2 copies of Cherubini. I see a lot of builds play 1 of these. This card is insane. Like if your board gets broken after, like if your board or play gets stopped in any way, shape, or form, and you like don't have another one of these to go into, you're just kind of out of luck, because a lot of times you're using your Dante to add back a BA. Like if you like link off a Seer with a Dante underneath it, you're gonna bring back the Dante and add back the Seer, for your hand, and then be able to pitch to make Beatrice. Next turn, if you need a follow-up with level 3s, like you're just out of luck. You don't have this card to be able to get back. I mean, you can recycle with Dante, but I feel like having 2 copies is okay, I feel like, for me anyway. So that's it for the links. Now we'll go into the XCs. 1 Beatrice, and then we have some rank 4s here. 1 Dweller, 1 Exciton Knight, and 1 Tornado Dragon for the rank 4s. Then for the rank 3s, of course, there's 2 copies of the man himself, Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. So that is it for the extra deck and the main deck. I'll go ahead and show you guys sort of a combo, if you will, and a test hand to sort of follow suit. So we'll go ahead and get set up for that. All right, so for this combo, I actually have like 2 combos to show you guys, but first I wanted to show you something that involved Revival Golem and sort of the interaction that you can have with this card, especially when combined with Edgem Sabers, so we can sort of guarantee mill this. So let's say we open this card alongside something like Mathematician, and any other like level 3 extender and level 4 extender will work alongside this, but I have another variation of this combo that ends on a different board that I'll show you guys after this. So I just wanted to go ahead, it'll require less cards too, but I wanted to show this one first. So first things first, we're going to get started with Mathematician, and he's going to send a copy of our Edgem Sabers to the graveyard, and then from here we'll special summon our level 3 extender. Again, it could be Gallus, Wielder, or Tracker, and then we'll link off those 2 into the Cherubini. And then from here, we'll use Cherubini's effect to dump anything to the grave here. Our primary targets, though, that we want are going to either be Rhino Warrior for Graph for Seer, or just Graph for Seer, or we could send Sea Archiver. It really doesn't make too big of a difference. I'll just go Rhino Warrior for Graph for Seer. If you wanted to conserve cards, you could just go for the latter and just go Graph for Seer, things like that. So we'll special summon this here, and then we'll go ahead and use our next effect here. And sending the Rhino Warrior, of course, also gets an extra Earth Engrave. So we'll stack the Revival Golem to the top of our deck. We'll make Dante here, and we're going to detach the Edge Imp, and we'll just mill, of course, any random cards here. Doesn't matter. And then, of course, Revival Golem's effect will activate to special summon itself to the field. And then from this point, we're going to special summon the other level 4 extender here and be able to go into a rank 4 at this point, just like this. So we can overlay the Gigantes and the Revival Golem, or the Rock Spirit and the Revival Golem, whatever it may be, for an additional rank 4. And if we have any extra BAs in our hand, we could possibly, you know, a Beatrice. So yeah, this ends us with just a Dante, a Dweller, and a Cherubini. All right, so this combo I want to show you guys next, I actually originally got from the Kali effect when seeing his previous take on this version of Earth BA. So if you guys want to check out his video, feel free to. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. But I figured I'd share with you guys this combo as well because it's pretty darn cool and ends on a very solid board. So without further ado, we'll get started with the Mathematician, and it's going to dump that Sea Archiver to the graveyard. And then we'll special summon our other level 3 extender in our hand. Again, could be Gallus or Wielder, whatever you want it to be. We'll go into Cherubini, and then here we'll just send the Rhino Warrior for Graph for Seer as per usual. So Rhino Warrior Graph, and then summon out the Seer into the zone that Cherubini points to, most importantly. And this will summon out the Archiver. And then here we're just going to go into a copy of Dante, detaching the Sea Archiver, most importantly, because we want to use Dante's effect later. Milling into sort of any random cards here does not make a difference. And then from this point, we'll go ahead and special summon our level 3 or level 4 Earth Extender. This could be Rock Spirit or Gigantes. Doesn't make too big of a difference. And then from this point, we link these off into a copy of the Nightmare Cerberus or Nightmare Phoenix, whatever you want it to be. We'll just go with Cerberus, though. And then Dante will get summoned by Seer, and Dante will add back the Seer or any other BA in our graveyard, and then we'll pitch this to go ahead and summon the Beatrice on top of our Dante here. And then lastly, linking these two off into a copy of Avermax, just like that. So Avermax, Beatrice, just off of those 3 cards, with plenty of Earths engrave for a potential Block Dragon at some point, or anything else, and or Rock Spirit next turn, whatever it may be, or whatever other cards we have in our hand. Or if we mill the Revival Golem off of that and had another extender like this in our hand, we could make it a rank 4 on top of all of those plays. So the sky is the limit when it comes to sort of what you mill and what other extenders you have access to. So there's that combo again. Shout out to the Kali effect for coming up with that and showcasing that. So I figured I'd share it with you guys as well because it's a really, really cool combo. Avermax and Beatrice, of course. Very, very solid cards to end on in BA. So now we're going to go ahead and do a random test hand and see what we can make work. So I've shuffled the deck here, did a quick pile shuffle and all that goodness. So let's go ahead and draw an opening hand here and see what we can pull off. So we draw Kagna, Libic, Phoenix Rhino Warrior, Gallus, and a copy of Sekka's Light. This is a pretty good hand if you ask me. I think the first thing I'm going to get started though is the copy of Sekka's Light. We'll draw it into 2 cards, Archiver and Wielder. Very, very good cards there if you ask me. I think I'm going to use the Sekka's Light to put back the Rhino Warrior, since we'd rather get that to the graveyard off of the Cherubini. So we'll just go ahead and put that back in and cut the deck and draw into a card. We draw Revival Golem. Okay, so not too big of a deal there. Now we'll go ahead and start with Gallus. Mill the top card off of our deck. Ends up being Draghig. Is there any reason to resolve Draghig right now and to stack our deck? With this particular hand, not entirely. So we just won't resolve that effect there. So next we'll just go ahead and special summon the Psychic Wielder. And then we'll go ahead and link into Cherubini. And then at this point, we'll go ahead and use Cherubini's effect to dump the what would it be? The Rhino Warrior to the graveyard, and to follow suit with the Graph, and then into Seer, or possibly Skarm. I think Skarm might actually be better than Seer, since I don't really see the need to extend any further than that, since we don't have an end of level 4 like rock extenders in our hand. So yeah, we'll go ahead and ditch that. We could technically actually put back the Revival Golem and make a play that way. I would only do that though if we had another level 4 extender in our hand. So I would send Sabers here, and then I would summon the Sabers by putting the Golem back on the top of the deck, summoning Archiver as a result, making Dante, milling 3. Golem gets summoned out, and that's potentially a way to help get into like a Boral Sword with Dante if we were going second, because that would put a lot of pressure on. But since we don't have this, we got to sort of play it safe. Just go Graph, or Rhino Warrior for Graph, and then Graph will just go ahead and summon Skarm, just like that. And then once the Skarm hits the field, we'll summon out the Archiver once we summon into the zone that Cherubini points to. And then we'll go ahead and make Dante. We'll detach the Archive, or not the Archiver, but the Skarm, mill 1, 2, and 3. We end up milling Seer and Farfa. I'm going to go ahead and special summon the Graph off of the Seer. So if they destroy that, we have an additional summon. We milled the Farfa, which is a bit unfortunate. We do have a Block Dragon in our graveyard, which is really, really good. And then at this point, we could make a second Dante and just sort of leave it as is. And then we could just make a Beatrice, but I think I'll just leave these extra cards in hand. Discard the Cogna, and then just go ahead and overlay into a copy of Beatrice like that. And I think that's pretty much it for our turn. If we needed to, we could summon out the Block Dragon and make like a Borlo Dragon or something. But we really don't need to go ahead and do that at this time. We didn't normal summon, I don't think, either. So, like, again, there's grounds for other plays that can be done there as well. I guess, actually, what we could do, if we haven't normal summon, I don't think we have, because I think we just started with Gallus, and then we went with the Psychic Wielder, and then made other plays from there. So what we could do, technically, is summon Block Dragon by banishing the other 3 Earths in our graveyard, linking these 4 off into a copy of Borreload, or instead of doing that, we could link these off into Cerberus, link these off into Avermax, and of course I've got to get my search off of the Block Dragon. We'll add Fossil Dyna, and we'll add Gigantes, and then we can actually normal summon the Fossil Dyna like that. And since we haven't normal summon, and this is going to be protected by the battle phase because of the Crusadia Avermax sitting on the board right now as well. And we actually do have enough Earths to summon this again, but we'd first want to banish everything first, summon the Block Dragon, and then normal, so we can protect this from card effects as well. So that actually ends up being very, very optimal right there. So yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting take on BA. It's still crazy to me how much this deck has evolved over the years and how it's still so darn good to this day. I think of the 3 Duelist Alliance decks, this one is definitely in the best condition, which is interesting. But I guess it's the crowd favorite out of all 3, Satellar's, Shadal, and BA. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Again, shout out to the Cali Effect for providing the combo I showed, the second combo. I think that test ender actually ended in like the similar board that he ended on in one of his combos as well. We just happened to get really lucky in opening that in a random test hand. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, check out Imperium Duelist and use my affiliate link down in the description below if you want to support me by buying anything on TCG Player. And yeah, as always, guys, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.